Hello, Luz. So today I just want to be super honest and just talk to you about business and why part of the reason why I create the offers I do, but more importantly, why there's like this triage that I really view business from. And so for me, there's that emotional piece of it, which is why I talk so much about our nervous system. I talk so much about the emotional blocks that we have come up. And I truly believe this entrepreneurial journey is really our own personal development journey because it's going to call forward all the pieces of you, all the parts of you that hasn't been healed yet, all the parts of you that's been scared, you're afraid of being seen, you're afraid of what people think, like all those fears that you've had perhaps as a child or really struggled with in high school, the insecurities, what people would think of us, what are just like all the crazy thoughts. What would people think if we fail? What if I'm a failure? All of these things, right? The mind drama that we have, the beliefs that we have, it all rises to the surface. And I truly believe that the entrepreneurial journey is the most beautiful way, process for us to really work on and identify the things that has been really holding us back. From having worked with now like thousands of women at this point and really to clear their blocks. What I have noticed is that when you look underneath the layers of what's really keeping them stuck, I'm going to give you some examples and I'm going to do a trigger warning first. So for those of you who, you might want to come back to this. You want to sit with this one for a little bit because it is going to be a little heavier in the beginning at first, just because I want you to think about how this might relate to you. So my clients, for example, that I really work with, they may struggle with codependency issues. They struggle with perfectionism. They may struggle with perfectionism because they grew up in a household where from their parents witnessing how their parents would treat them when they're not perfect or doing things right. And so the belief then is I have to be perfect in order to be loved. And so all your entire life is stemming from this place of I have to do things perfectly, otherwise I won't be loved, otherwise people won't like me, right? And what they really crave underneath it is, I just want to be loved by my parents. I just want to be loved by others. There's also, I have a client, for example, who had the fear of being seen. And, a lot of the traditional I guess mindset work that people teach where it's like positive affirmations, all these things, it would have never gotten to the root of her emotional block. Why? Because her fear of being seen wasn't what would be, I guess, what the norm would be. I don't really like using that word, but for her, it was because of an abuse. And so the fear for her, it was very real. Her nervous system is activated. She doesn't feel safe within her body. So of course she runs away from being seen. I have another client who's afraid of being seen. Why? Because she's always made to feel different her entire life. She never felt like that sense of belonging. And when we feel within our bones that we don't belong, how much that hurts us deeply. Because at the crux of it, what we really want is community. What we really want is support. What we really want is this deep relationship, whether it's intimate with our partner and I wouldn't even say and with other women. And then sometimes we struggle with things like sisterhood wounds where we enter into masterminds or spaces. And there's, because of something that may have taken place from high school, our friend really hurt us, like from college or even into adulthood. Even now, you may have gone through like a friendship breakup at some point in your life that really wounded you. Well, then of course you're going to have walls that then come up. So one of the things that I want you to really recognize is that as part of being entrepreneur, and more so, I would say more so, because you're a coach, you're a healer, you're in this space where you are working with another human being to help them in their business, in their life, in their relationships, whatever that is, the very nature of your work opens you up then to all of those wounds and they're going to rise to the surface. My encouragement to you when that rises is to do the work. Do the emotional work, the ones that you've been hiding from. Because your business can only expand to the your emotional capacity. If you look at every successful entrepreneur, they will talk to you about emotional intelligence. They will tell you that a lot of things that did come up and it was keeping them stuck in their business wasn't even like the nitty gritty, like how do I do the thing, but it's more so how do I get out my own way so that way I can actually do the thing. Because I'm willing to bet that this is not the first video that you watch as an entrepreneur. You probably sat through master classes. You probably sat through how to grow on Instagram, how to do this, whatever it is, how to grow my coaching business. So I'm willing to bet it's not so much that you lack the knowledge, because you don't. You're a smart cookie. You're a brilliant entrepreneur. What's blocking you are all the layers, the emotional blocks that is rising up as they come to the surface. And this is the work that I really invite you into, that I really support my clients in the different containers that I offer. I do that through my memberships, through my group coaching, and also one-on-one, is I really want you to work on clearing those blocks as they come up. And I know that as you continue to up level and expand, what often happens is we think, oh, it's the lack of money. Once I get more money or I have more clients, then this thing that I feel is going to go away. And here's what I know to be true from having worked with multi six-figure entrepreneurs and seven-figure entrepreneurs, is the things that were not worked on, they just double and they come back. They return. That doesn't mean that, you're just going to take time, clear your blocks, and like you can't work in your business. No, it's both. You're going to do the inner work. That's why I work with you on helping you to really support clearing your blocks as they come up, because you're going to get triggered, okay? Especially if it's like a core wound. You'll know it's a core wound because the minute someone says something, you're like, I don't feel good in my body, my nervous system's activated, and you just drop down. Allow yourself to drop down, pause, feel where the contraction is. As you feel where the contraction is, allow that part of you to speak. Some of you are going to say, I don't hear anything. If you don't hear anything, that means you haven't been in tune with that part of you. My encouragement to you then would just allow yourself to just practice being. It's going to be hard for you. I know this because I have clients where I would actually invite them to do mindful walking. And for them, they're so accustomed to plugging their earpods in, always receiving having that internal input from elsewhere. But they're not accustomed to just being. Okay. So if you don't hear anything when you're tuning into the contraction, what's it trying to say? What is the wound that hasn't been healed yet, or is it trying to bring your attention to? That maybe you just need to bring some love, some compassion, some empathy so you can heal it, release it, be cleared of it, so then you can move forward. Okay. So that's what we do with core memories, things that are coming up that's really highly triggering. There's going to be other things where it's just more like you just need to breathe through it. You just need to do a quick tap and it's like, okay, I'm feeling good. Beautiful. But you're going to know when you have core wounds because it's going to show up differently and you're going to feel it. And for you, my encouragement to you is to do that deeper work. And I would love to be able to do that work for you. I'm actually going to drop that in the description box below. So that way you can actually take a look at my different containers to really support you, including, just one of my memberships or even something like a smaller offer that I do have just to get you started with doing the work. So that's the emotional block. So that's like that first. So again, there's like this triage that I see. It's like a triangle for me. We have the emotional blocks that we're going to work through simultaneously, okay? And then the other block that needs to be cleared that you really want to work on is your money blocks. I talk about money a lot. Probably see it on social media posts. You might see it on my emails. And for those of you who are, I'm just going to do it super quick. For those of you who are newer to my space, I came here as a refugee from Laos. It's a third world country. I've experienced poverty there firsthand in a third world country. I came here in the US and also experienced poverty here. I literally was sewing Beanie Babies for like 5 cents a piece. So you can imagine as an immigrant coming here and just the mindset I developed as a result of that, and how that has really affected my business. And not only my business, but as I began working on that to clear my own money wounds and my own blocks, once I start doing that work and being able to step into the wealthy woman, which you're going to rise into, because I believe so powerfully in that vision for you. And I know the abundant life that you seek, the abundant life that you desire for your business is available to you. And so I believe in that. I believe in that so powerfully for you. And so I know that, and if you're unsure, see, a lot of times my clients are like, how do I know if I have a money block? You know, you have a money block when money comes in and you go, you freeze up a little bit. You get excited, then you freeze. Or you start thinking, what will people think of me? They'll think, okay? They'll think I'm only in it for the money. Okay, have you heard that? Heard yourself say that? They'll only think I'm in it for the money. They'll think I'm greedy. Who am I to make that much money? Those are all the money blocks that are rising up for you. What I really want to invite you into is to do the deeper work of clearing some of the money wounds. You take a look at some of the stories you've been told growing up, what is being communicated to you externally from that societal lens, from that perspective. Because if you allow yourself to hear the voices all around you, I don't think there's ever a time in history where people don't have money problems or they don't talk about it, where they're like, oh, I feel so abundant. I feel so good. Usually, what is it? What's the attachment? What do you typically feel when you allow yourself to tune in to what society feels? It's usually stress around money. And what oftentimes happen unknowingly is we receive that. We receive other people's stress and we take it as our own. Nope. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's not enough. What if the economy shift? What if people aren't going to buy my thing because they don't have enough money? I got to lower my prices. Okay. All that is affecting you on a subconscious level. And if you're very in tune, you notice it is affecting you on a conscious level. So I work with you on helping you to be able to clear some of the things that are coming in that you're receiving now, the message you receive as a child that is playing out now that you haven't worked through yet. And we do that through a deep dive EFT tapping session to really help you clear that from the cellular level. And so you may be wondering, well, what do you mean by cellular level? Because we have a lineage. Okay. I want you to think for just a moment. You came out your mother's womb. And if your mom during that time was struggling with financially, right? Because we have that ancestral lineage. She was struggling financially, all of this stress. And what did they say? What the science say about the mother's stress? It affects the womb, it affects the baby. So if you have that lineage, that ancestral lineage where there was a lot of financial trauma, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done financially. That's the work we do to really help you begin clearing that, helping you to uncover that. So that way you are able to make conscious decisions around your money. And as you become more intentional, more consciously aware what you're doing with money, how you're circulating money, you invite more money into your life. You invite more abundance into your life. Sometimes people shy away from using the word money as though it's taboo. Here, talk about money openly. Why? Because we need to. Because I believe that money in the hands of heart-led women are needed now more than ever. And if you're listening to this video, that's you. So I'm going to call you forward into rising into the wealthy woman, the one you caught glimpses of and you know is available to you. The life, the business you desire is available to you. I believe, how do I say this? I believe with every bone in my body, truly, that everything that you desire, that's in your heart and you can feel, you keep catching glimpses of her and you cannot let that dream go. It is because it is meant for you. And God, with all of his wisdom, all of his knowledge, gave you that vision. And your job, I truly believe it is your job to manifest, to co-create and experience that in the physical realm. I'm tapping on my mouse here. I want you to experience that now, here in this physical plane. Because your soul, I notice to be true because I notice to be true for myself as an entrepreneur, is your soul will die a little every single time you walk away from that dream. Every time you turn a blind, pretend it's not there, pretend it's not available to you, you play a little bit smaller, you settle for crumbs. You don't believe that the abundant life that has been promised to you is available to you. There's a part of you that dies a little. It breaks your heart. And for me, the work I do, I believe in it so powerfully because of how much it's transformed my life, my family's life. And I think about the change that will happen in your community as you begin transforming your wealth identity. It always starts with you first, your community, society as a whole, because we're all in need of collective healing. I believe truly that we all are in need of like elevating our financial abundance to invite more prosperity into your life and into your business. And I want that so much for you. So that's the second piece, right? So we talk about emotional blocks, money blocks that comes up for you. And the third piece is going to be your sales blocks. All those things like selling's icky, all those stuff that comes up. You don't want to show up on Instagram stories and sell to people, or you don't want to like create a post. Is it too salesy? What if I come off too salesy when I'm doing a workshop? All these things. And the practical part of it, because there's that piece, there's the block that comes up, and there's the practical piece. And so that's the reason why one of my programs, Soul Aligned Sales, I focus on helping you to clear a lot of the sales blocks as they come up, so your nervous system isn't activated. So that way you don't hop on sales call with a money block. And because you have a money block going into sales call, when your very first thought is, how do I close the sale? How do I get them to buy my thing? Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. When you have that block, it's first being conscious. Okay, I have this block. I need to clear this so I can enter the sales conversation from a clean place. I can enter the sales conversation from a place of deep service, where my focus is, how can I deeply support this client, this potential clients, in the short time frame that I have with her, so that way I can help her to make an empowered decision. That's really what I help you to do inside of Soul Line Sales. I help you to both navigate the things that's happening you internally, so that way when you show up to the calls, you're then able to support your clients. You're able to actually walk them through the sales process. And it gets to feel easy and flow. And that's the reason why you'll see sometimes like testimonials of my clients where they'll say things like, I went into a sales conversation, it just felt so easy and flowy. It's because they're coming from a place of feeling empowered. Because once you clear what's coming up for you, when you go into those conversations, you feel so powerful because you're detached. You're detached from the sales. And that's actually the secret of closing more sales, is you become detached from it, but you're leading them to an empowered decision. So my clients know that I will coach hard to help them to make an empowered decision. And that's what I teach my clients to do as well. That's the only part we do where we're coaching hard, is to help them make an empowered decision. That doesn't mean it's a yes every single time, but I want to make sure that when they leave the conversation, that they feel good about the decision they made. Okay. Where their nervous system isn't activated, and where I feel good in my nervous system. And that's the process I invite you into. And so that's something that I really support my clients inside of Soul Aligned Sales. And so my entire business is built off of this framework. And that's what I invite you into. Whether you decide you want to work with me in some capacity, you want the support with clearing your emotional blocks, with some of your money blocks, and then having that energy of sales when you go into sales conversation. Because I truly believe this is what is going to help you to manifest the life and business of your dreams. And you may be thinking, well, that's more business. Yes, but your life and your business is interconnected when you're an entrepreneur, and especially the type of work you do. Okay. And if you're like, I don't know if that's true. Well, I want you to think about the last time you didn't feel like it. Things were going well at home. You're like, I can't show up for my business today. Can't make the sale. All these thoughts, right? Because it's all interconnected. So I really hope you support you. It's a holistic approach to really help support you. So that way you can have a business that is both profitable and sustainable. I want you to have a soul-aligned business that you feel so good about. I want you to sell in a way that feels so easy and so fun and so at flow with you. And it's also going to include the masculine structure. So what's the masculine structure? The masculine structure is we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, the very practical side of your sales process. And so oftentimes you'll hear me just, kind of where I'm supporting you, where I'm helping you to clear your blocks. But I also want you to remember that you are so intelligent. You're a brilliant businesswoman. Okay. That's going to lean on your empowered masculine. The masculine structure gives you the safety for you then to explore, for you then to be free, for you then to run a soul-aligned business. That's so fun. That's so freeing. It's because of the masculine structure. And it's my invitation for you to have both, for you to have that freedom and flow and ease, and also combine it with that practical side of business because you're a business owner. And I know that you're going to what you're going to birth into the world is going to be absolutely incredible. And I hope to be able to support you in it. So yeah, with that being said, I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that it just gives you something to think about for yourself. You can think through, like, even doing some journaling around what are the blocks that are coming up for me. Okay. And then I would invite you to do some digging, especially when it comes to more of the emotional blocks. I want you to think, this is how you kind of get started. I want you to reflect back. How long have I been trying to get my business to work? I want you to think about that. How long have I been trying to get the business to work? How long has God entrusted me with this vision and I feel stuck? I want you to think of how long it's been. And as you reflect on that, what are the things I feel truly that are stopping me? And I don't want you to get stuck with the surface stuff, because the first thing that your brain's going to go, oh, I don't know how to do this. If only I had this, if only I had a team and all of these things. I want you to dig deeper. Okay. Because chances are, depending on how long you've been in business, you probably have invested in programs. You probably have invested in some marketing. So I want you to really dig what's stopping me emotionally, pinpoint it, tie it down. So in sales, I talk about tying it down. We're going to just ground it, going to pinpoint some of the emotional blocks that are coming up. What are some of the thoughts that I'm noticing that's been coming up for me? Okay. And is it connected to like a core memory? Can I allow myself to tap into the subconscious mind to link it to a memory that I notice I haven't really worked through, I haven't processed yet, I'm in need of healing of? Okay. And my invitation to you you can, again, I would love to be able to support you, or you can work with someone else if you want, if you're feeling led that way. Either way, I want you to get that emotional support for yourself, because as you expand your emotional capacity, that's going to be you expanding your capacity for people. Okay. It's going to be so important when you scale. The more you expand your emotional capacity, the more you expand your capacity to grow your business, because your business involves your capacity to expand with supporting people. Oh, it's all connected. So then we move into your money blocks. The same thing. What are some of the money wounds that has been coming up? How do I feel like it's been affecting my business? Is it linked to core memories that I can work through, that I need to process? When I'm going to hop on a sales call, what comes up for me? When I'm going to sell in stories, what comes up for me? When I'm going to make that post, invite people to a discovery call, or invite them to get my freebie, what comes up for me? When I'm getting ready to host a live workshop, what comes up for me? Allow yourself to dive deep, especially if you're feeling stuck in your business and you're like, I don't know how. It's actually easier for us to go into I don't know how, because I do the same thing. It's because when you're stuck in how, you don't have to move. Okay. When you're stuck in I don't know, you don't have to go. You don't have to move. You get to stay, because you get to say, I'm overwhelmed. I only know this pattern so well because it is a pattern I fall into. I allow myself to stay into overwhelm because if I'm in overwhelm, I get to say, I'm just feeling so overwhelmed. And for me, now it's I was choosing to be in overwhelm, or I'm choosing overwhelm right now. Is that what I want to feel right now? Okay. What's the overwhelm? What's creating the overwhelm? So we're going to take that like a layer deeper. Why? Because don't want to stay stuck in overwhelm. Because overwhelm, when we say we're overwhelmed, it actually then allows us to not have to make forward movement. And so for me, I tell my clients, I'm like, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to move. I want you to dig into the overwhelm, and I want you to move because that creates momentum. Okay. So with all that being said, I know there was a lot. I hope this was helpful for you. Um, and again, I'm going to share some of my resources as well as some of the containers programs that I have below. If you have any questions, I again would love to connect with you. I'm not a guru. I say that all the time because I answer my own messages. So please message me. I would love to connect with you. And I really hope that out of this, if nothing at all, that you take the time to journal. Take the time, allow yourself the spaciousness to do this work. Because this work, if you allow it to, it will begin transforming your business. Because I've seen it do just that time and time again. All right, friends, until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.